New this morning, the leaders of the Farmington Polo Club want to hold more events this summer, and we're talking non-polo events here. And just hours ago, town council members decided to walk away and push the discussion back to next month. Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler joins us now live outside the Farmington Town Hall with those details. Good morning, Olivia.
Hey, Roger. Good morning. Well, people attended the town hall late last night to raise their concerns and ask some questions about the potential expansion of non-polo events in the summer. Neighbors say the events at Farmington Polo Club will cause issues along Town Farm Road. Some living nearby to the club say they already deal with traffic and noise from the polo matches. When the club hosts car shows and charity events, neighbors say that problem worsens. In an effort to compromise, the Town Farm development said they'd delay start times back to 8:30 in the morning. They also said events wouldn't include music or announcements over speakers. The Polo Club wants to add 12 to 25 non-polo or non-equestrian events, but neighbors continue to argue the events being held are enough. Once again, the discussion is being pushed to May 8th. The meeting wrapped up just after midnight late this morning. We're reporting live in Farmington. Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.